talked before about the development of the single lens reflex camera. The 70s saw the development of aperture priority coming in and some automatic exposure modes, and this continued in the 80s with a program coming in some cameras, and eventually autofocusing was the big thing. And for Canon, they launched something called the EOS system, electronic optical system, I believe, and although they were called Rebels in the States, but this new line of cameras had automatic focusing lenses. And in a previous video, I've reviewed the Canon 650. I think the 650 came out in 87, and the 600, which you would have assumed would have come out first, the 600 came out later, and the 600 in the States is called the 630. You see how easy it is to get confused with camera numbers. Here is the EOS 600. I've got a 35 to 70 Canon lens on. I'm fascinated by how the design changes. We can see the development of the, if we look at the top, we have not yet gone to a single mode operating lever. We have a good LED display here on the top of the camera. We have a little on-off button, which is very similar to the 650. We have L for lock, a green for program, and we have a for one program, because if we go in the program mode, we can actually, we've got 7 different types of program. We can have a standard, a quick shot, a landscape, a sports, a portrait, close-up and indoor. So that would now be all covered on one removable button, but in those days, in 89, it was all on your mode. You had different program modes. The autofocusing was seen as being very advanced and very quick. Other manufacturers, I think, were slightly slower, but Canon seems to have quickly got into automatic focusing. I remember lots of people in the day were sort of saying this will never catch on, but if you were doing weddings and other events where you had to act very, very quickly, it was really interesting how quickly people changed from manual lenses to automatic lenses. And you also got used to when they weren't quite as quick at thinking as you were, so you would then turn the automatic focusing on. But on the whole, you found that you actually got a better shoot rate with automatic focusing lenses, and as we all know, they caught on very well. So back to the EOS 600. So we've got this interesting design on the button at the back of on and off to load the camera. Very straightforward. Check I haven't got a film in. You open it on the side. It's DX coded, which was a big thing again in the late 80s. So lens, film in here, cross here, close, and the film automatically rides on. We've got various modes. If I want to take it out of program mode, that's where I put it onto A, and then I've got my manual mode, my P mode for program, my TV for time value, AV, and an interesting one, depth of field. So you've got those modes there, plus you have those 7 program modes. You have exposure compensation here. It's a very well made camera. When you put it against the later EOS cameras, this definitely has some weight to it. It appears to be very reliable. It fits well ergonomically. Another big thing at the time was the power rind, that it automatically wound the film on and would wind the film back. In fact, I think the 600 was basically the major Canon camera to first do this. So in the 600 we see a lot of elements which were to become a standard feature in single lens cameras. But how is it to actually use in the field? Let's find out. The first photograph taken in the fields on the edge of Dorchester, absolutely fine, not the greatest of photograph, but the camera is performing well and we've got a sharp, well focused image and the tones are good. It's what I would expect from this Canon. It's very light to use. You've got good display in the display area in the viewfinder, and when I moved on I was quite pleased with these trees. However, the zoom lens isn't as good as a fixed focus, and to be honest, I was a little bit disappointed in the sharpness here. It works, but yes, it has been sharpened just slightly in post. This was taken in February on a very bright Saturday afternoon at the end of February, and I could have done with a yellow filter. Looking at those clouds at the back, they need a bit of enhancement, a bit of darkening, but the key thing about using this camera was to see how it actually performed, and there is a great beauty in the trees when they are so stark at this time of the year. And the good thing about a zoom is it gives you that flexibility of different types of shot. Here we have a landscape of the town of Dorchester from the water meadows. At the moment they are planning to build over 4,000 houses just slightly within meters of this shot to the north. The plan is to leave this area but build at the end. Another shot more in town, some old wartime buildings here. Again, the sharpness I felt was fine here. I think it's on some of the landscape shots I was a little bit disappointed. But the camera is very nice to use, and although the conventional or what was to become the conventional layout isn't actually on this camera, you do feel that everything is at hand and the ergonomics of the camera are really nice. The camera has a good solid feel, and with which you don't always get on the later EOS cameras. And some of the later EOS cameras were highly spec'd. They were good cameras, but in my experience they have a tendency to fail later in life. I've only used a couple of 600s and the 650 and both of them have worked extremely well. So if you do find a Canon 600 or 650 or even 630, it might be worth you giving it a go, and you might enjoy the process as much as I did with this Canon. They are quite reasonably priced when you see them against some other cameras of the same era. So the EOS 600. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.